The Honourable Leader of the New Democratic Party.
According to family members quoted in a news report yesterday, which I'll table, reporting incidents of nursing home abuse in Nova Scotia is, these are their words, like talking to a wall. The source of the frustration here is the practice that complaints that don't lead to a formal investigation, and this is the majority of complaints, that these complaints do not receive any written response at all. Can the Premier explain why the government has continued the practice that there's no written follow-up to a majority of nursing home abuse complaints?
The Honourable Premier.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. There is an ongoing conversation between the complainant and the family and those who are reviewing it, Mr. Speaker. It is a verbal conversation that's happening. Some of those do end up being investigated by outside agencies, Mr. Speaker. Those ones will continue. But I also want to say to the honourable member, as he knows, there's an independent committee looking at the whole issue of long-term care, the structure of it, what are the changes that we can make to continue to ensure that we provide the supports for our loved ones and quite frankly, answer the questions that their families may have.
The Honourable Leader of the New Democratic Party.
Thank you, but the difficulty is that administrative procedure regarding nursing home abuse complaints is not within the terms of reference of the expert panel. So I want to return to the difficulty that in order for a family whose nursing home complaint has not led to a formal investigation to be able to find out why this is so, they have to file at the moment a formal Freedom of Information request. And it's not hard to understand why people in that situation would feel that their complaint had not been respected and that something was being hidden from them. So will the Premier establish a practice in nursing homes whereby every complaint of an abusive situation in a nursing home receives a formal response and is not behind the wall of FOIPOP?
The Honourable Premier.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I want to thank the honourable member for the question. I do want to commit to him that if it is not in the what has come back from the expert panel, I will give him my word that I will look at this situation and find out why we are not writing directly to families of residents of ours and do what we can to ensure that we do that as much as possible.
The Honourable Leader of the New Democratic Party.
I appreciate this answer and I respect it, and I think it reflects an understanding that at some basic level, something somewhere here isn't as it ought to be. And so I want to ask the Premier, finally, if he wouldn't agree that the present general climate of unopenness about nursing homes is contributing to a lack of public confidence in our overall healthcare system.
The Honourable Premier.
No, Mr. Speaker, I don't share the issue of the lack of confidence in the healthcare system, Mr. Speaker. There are day in and day out Nova Scotians who are accessing many parts of our healthcare system who talk to me about the great service they're receiving, whether it's in primary care, long-term care, or other aspects of delivering care. But I do want to go back to what was the genesis of his original question, that when a family is concerned about their loved one in long-term care, that the issue of a written communication back to them is an important question, one that if it is not in that report, Mr. Speaker, I will endeavour to ensure that whenever that is possible, that we will do that and correct that issue.